So our Commerce Secretary is a guy named Wilbur Ross, and he's one of the dumbest people in the country. I say that jokingly, but not really, as you're about to see. So we did an interview with CNBC, and listen to what he said about Trump's Saudi Arabia trip.
Just back from the region is Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross. He joins us right now. Mr. Secretary, thank you for being here today. Obviously, a lot of deals that were cut in Saudi Arabia. Why don't you lay out what happened, set the backdrop for this, and how these deals were able to come together?
Well, I think the backdrop is that it isn't just commercial deals and it isn't just military deals. I think the most impressive part of the whole thing was the assembly late yesterday afternoon of the leaders of most all the Muslim countries in the world, with the exception of Iran and Syria. That's the first time, to my knowledge, that there's been that unified an effort between the leaders in the Muslim world and the United States. And the excitement among those world leaders was totally palpable.
Totally palpable in terms of a changing relationship with us?
Yes, and the enthusiasm with which they greeted the remarks. King Salman spoke first, then the president delivered, I thought, a wonderful speech. The major theme both of King Salman's speech and the president's was about terrorism and about the united effort of those represented in the room to combat it. Then there were several follow-on speeches by various leaders of the other Muslim countries. So whatever question anybody might have had about is the bulk of the Islamic world unified with the United States in this effort, this should put that to rest totally.
Do you understand what he's saying there? His argument is, we were in a room with a bunch of world leaders of Muslim nations, and the king of Saudi Arabia went up and gave a speech that was against terrorism. So if anybody was concerned that maybe Saudi Arabia isn't a partner in peace, well, those concerns should be put to rest. Because I was there. He was in the room. And that the speech was, was something else. Good speech. Good speech. So I wouldn't worry. They're definitely a partner in fighting terrorism. I saw the speech. Wilbur, there's no way that any human being on this planet could be as stupid as you just expose yourself as being. That really is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. So a speech overrides actual actions? I don't give a fuck what they say in the speech. They can say anything they want in the speech. What are they doing? What are their policies? How are they acting? You're in a country where a king just gave a speech. By the way, red flag right there. Pump your brakes, son. There's a king giving a speech. I thought that the U.S. was all freedom and democracy. That's what we spread, freedom and democracy around the world, and if you're not a democracy, well, then you're our enemy, and we need to try to spread freedom and democracy, unless terms and conditions apply. Because if you have oil and you have business deals with us, well, then we're just going to look the other way, and we're going to pretend you're good guys, even though you are clearly not. You're an absolute monarchy and a theocracy. He's ranting about how moderate Saudi Arabia is and how liberal and how they're becoming more liberal. Meanwhile, women still can't drive in the country. You have a guardianship system where they control the women at all times. They behead people in the public square, and they behead them for things like apostasy and sorcery and witchcraft and drug smuggling, and they say all atheists are terrorists, and they have official discrimination against all different minorities. And you're going to, well, they gave a speech and they were anti-terror in the speech, so I believe it. Look at what they're doing. Look at they're doing a genocide in Yemen right now. They're killing women and children all the time. They're bombing mosques. They're bombing hospitals. They're bombing schools. They're bombing schools for the blind. They're bombing open-air markets. They're using cluster bombs that we gave them. And by the way, that's illegal under international law to use cluster bombs, to make cluster bombs, but we do it anyway, and we don't care. So, hey, we're above the law. Who gives a fuck? They're doing a blockade of Yemen right now. They don't even allow humanitarian aid in sometimes. So there's at least 14 million people starving. The numbers range from 14 million to 17 million. And you're up there talking, well, yeah, he gave a speech, and the speech was nice, and he said flowery words, and he said, I'm against terrorism in the speech. So that should put to rest anything you've ever felt. Are you this stupid, or are you just a liar? Are you this stupid or are you a liar, Wilbur Ross? Unfortunately, I think the answer is he's that stupid. Because we're going to get to another clip in a little bit where he's talking. And also, I don't, like, what the fucking Mr. Magoo, slow ass, like, I was in Saudi Arabia with Trump, and I saw a speech it should put to rest. You might want to tell the doc to lighten up your Xanax load, because good googly moogly. That guy's brain is moving at 0.3 miles an hour. This is the Commerce Secretary. What a dunce. This is... They're a partner in... I heard a speech. They're a partner in peace now. What? It's all business interests override everything. So we did a $400 billion economic deal with them, $110 billion weapons deal. We're going to keep selling this terror state weaponry. They go, jobs. There were jobs. And jobs are good, right? I like jobs and stuff. I don't care that they're slaughtering people and that they're a terror state. Fuck you, Wilbur Ross. These are the people who are running our country. That guy's running our country. Yeah, think about that one for a while.